Welcome to Wish I Had Known, the show where hindsight meets insight. Host Jodie Lamb has worn many hats in the world of finance, from navigating the intricacies of financial planning to unraveling the mysteries of insurance claims and diving deep into the realm of structured settlements. Each episode explores the topics that make you say, if only I had known this sooner. Join the conversation as we uncover the insights that can make all the difference. This is Wish I Had Known, because knowledge is power and hindsight is 2020.
Welcome to another episode of Jodie's One Question, where we talk about the one question or one topic that you're interested in and our subject matter experts are loving to share with us. Today we're joined with Jennifer, CEO and founder of Quantum Insurance Services and of WOW. Jennifer, are you ready for your one question today?
So ready. I can't wait. This is so much fun.
Love it. Fantastic. All right. Well, before we get started, why don't you tell us a quick information about yourself, who you are, and what is your area of expertise?
Sure. So I'm owner of a firm that does insurance consulting. We are high-level independent producers when it comes to insurance. So we look at the entire market and we look to find the logical truth of money within the financial world of life insurance and annuity products by comparing all the products in the industry against one another. So we do a lot of high-level work with business managers, accountants, attorneys, and other top-level advisors to help them advise their clients on the way to maximize the value of any insurance products with which they're engaging. And I'm also, as a sort of passion project, co-founder of a really wonderful nonprofit for women called WOW. It stands for Women of Wealth, and it's dedicated to helping women improve their financial literacy, fluency, and mastery through brass tacks conversations with one another.
Wow, that's impressive. Okay, so I suspect that you're well prepared for this one question, and I think everybody who's listening is in the U.S. going to be wanting to hear, what is the number one misconception that we have preparing and going into retirement?
Oh, that's a great question. I would say the biggest misconception we have as Americans is that there's some sort of social safety net for our long-term care needs. It's something I'm pretty passionate about because my own father had a terrible stroke about 7 years ago, and he didn't have adequate protection. He didn't have any long-term care insurance, and he didn't have enough retirement to pay for his needs, which was $10,000 a month of round-the-clock care in his own home where he wanted to be living. And unfortunately, the baby boomers are only just beginning to hit that peak period of time where long-term care becomes more likely. And so the demand for long-term care is increasing, which is increasing cost because you know the laws of supply and demand. So what most people don't realize is that in 30 years, the average cost of long-term care is going to be $1.3 million per person. And Medicare doesn't cover it. And you're kind of on your own in this country as to what you're going to do. And it's like this giant tsunami of future problems just waiting to hit the fan. So it's really important for people to get good information and try to incorporate a long-term care strategy into their retirement portfolio.
What happens if they don't put that in place today? What's their alternative later?
Well, that's a really good question, Jodie. What happens is 75% of the time, let's just say, the woman in the family, it's usually the daughter-in-law, whatever, ends up having to lose hours and hours of years and years too of time and become the in-home caretaker for a sick and elderly relative. So it's really well documented. 75% of in-home caretakers that are non-paid are women. And the average woman ends up losing about 2.5 years of time out of her career taking care of somebody. It's devastating. And it's just this kind of untalked about burden that women are about to face at some point in their lives unless they've planned to protect either their own elderly relatives and or themselves. That's a burden that they'll end up passing along to somebody else too. So it's just one of those things where, I'm in risk management. So for me, everything is about what do you know is a risk that you can cover today affordably so that you don't have to face that worst case scenario. And I'm a little bit obsessed with this, that no one seems to be knowing about this. And I wouldn't say no one. I mean, I get calls every single day. Hey, my financial advisor told me I need long-term care. Can you help me? And the answer is, of course, yes. But you would think more people would know this, and they just don't.
As a mother, as a daughter, I don't want to shift that burden onto my own children. When is the best time to start looking at long-term care, understanding that we have to buy insurance before we need it, and typically the younger we buy it, the cheaper it is. But where's that sweet spot? When should we be having this conversation, if not now, in our planning strategy?
Great questions. So if you're going to buy traditional long-term care, you probably want to do that in around the age of 50. It's like you better do it, or it's going to get really cost prohibitive, and you may not be able to afford it. And it's also getting harder and harder to get approved for long-term care because the insurance carriers, they're no dummies. And so they don't take bad risk anymore because they're losing a lot of money. People are living way too long, way longer than they expected. So if you've like sneezed recently, or I mean, I'm kind of exaggerating, but I'd say right now for traditional long-term care, about 1 out of every 3 clients I'll take to the market can actually get approved. So if you wait a little too long, you have too much in your medical history that impacts your ability to even buy the product. So I'd say max age 50, you should be having conversations. Now, there are also these really interesting hybrid products that have evolved that are life insurance products with long-term care riders baked right in, which personally I love because there's a lot of really cool things about them. And if you're going to do one of those, you can start them anytime. You can start them as early as 30, and the sooner you do it, the better, because it allows that death benefit, which is also your long-term care benefit, to grow over time on your behalf. So then the sooner the better, and the younger the better, because you know the time value of money.
So if we want to find out more about this, Jennifer, how do we reach you? How do we find you? And what does the process look like going forward?
Oh, sure. Well, we do, a lot of being insurance nerds for people. And if you ever have a question about insurance, I encourage anyone and everyone to reach out to Quantum. Quantum Insurance Services can be easily found. Our website is www.quantuminsuranceservices.com. If you go there, there's like a little contact us button, and it really brings you right to our consultants who are, trained like me, intelligent like me, and commissions agnostic, which is really important. We're not here to sell, we're here to advise. And we work with every carrier that has an A rating or better in the entire country. So you have access to a universe of products that's much larger than if you go to just, your New York Life or your Northwestern Mutual agent or your State Farm agent. And it's a really great way to help find the more affordable way to get the protections that you need. So you can try us there. You can give us a call at 424-286-2481. We actually do have phones still. And you can always email me personally at jennifer@teamqis.com.
I love it. As one insurance nerd to another, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us in another one question topic. I think long-term care is absolutely something that we need to make sure that we are addressing in our retirement planning. You're absolutely right. I had the mistake of thinking that was something I could cover with my employer-sponsored plan. And not only you're telling me that's not the case, but it's also not covered by Medicare, and that's a huge financial exposure that we all need to be aware of. Thank you so much for sharing. Do you have any final parting words that you wish to share?
Yes, thank you. Jodie, thank you for helping people learn important things. It's such a complex subject. And also, thank you for being an insurance nerd in the industry. As you and I both know, only about 2% of top-level insurance nerds in this country are female. So congrats to you. And thank you for being a fellow insurance nerd who happens to be female.
Cheers to you, my friend. Wish you all the best. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Welcome to Wish I Had Known, the show. Thanks for listening to today's episode. Please like, share, and subscribe so you can hear all of Jodie's chats, so you don't have to say, "Wish I had known."